Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the PNY PRO Podcast. I'm here today with my co-host Jerome, as well as our guest today, Anthony Larijani from NVIDIA. Hi, Anthony. How are you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. We're very excited to have you here. And for those who have watched some of our other content, virtual events, other podcast episodes, Anthony has been a guest of ours in the past. But Anthony, for those of you who maybe haven't met you before through our content, could you just introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure thing. So my name is Anthony Larijani. I'm part of NVIDIA's product marketing team focused on data center solutions, in particular data center visual computing platforms like the RTX PRO 6000 Blackwell Server Edition GPU.
Yeah, again, we recently had you on the virtual event. Of course, I know I was in it and, of course, helping out. It was a great virtual event, by the way. Can you tell, the people who weren't there, kind of a brief introduction of what it was about and what your take on it was?
Yeah, so it was a fantastic event we did, virtual event, and we covered basically the introduction of the RTX Pro portfolio, which is our our portfolio of workstation and data center class professional GPUs for AI and visual computing. We did a double click on the GPU that I cover in particular, which is our RTX Pro 6000 Blackwell Server Edition. So it's going to be our flagship RTX capable GPU for the data center.
Have you ever done a virtual event like that? Or have you done, of course, I know you've done like a lot of speaking on the 6000 Pro Blackwell Server Edition in the past, but what was your take on something like that versus, some of the other content that may have created in the past?
Yeah, I think this is particularly what PNY does to conduct outreach, and the video series that we did. These podcasts are a fantastic vehicle to go out and have conversations with customers, get the message out. It really provides a fantastic platform to reach a lot of people who are familiar with NVIDIA technologies, interested in NVIDIA technologies, and give them an opportunity to ask questions and engage with us directly. So I always welcome the opportunity to be a part of the events that y'all put together because they are so fantastic.
Yeah, that's awesome. It was definitely a great event. Got a lot of good feedback from people in the office that were tuned in and as well as the community online. It was great. But I just wanted to go back a little bit. You mentioned how, your specific area of focus is on the data center solutions. So I really wanted to hone in on that latest edition that you mentioned, the latest flagship for the data center, the RTX Pro 6000 Blackwell Server Edition. Could you just tell us a little bit more about that product?
Yeah, absolutely. So we introduced the GPU itself at GTC this year. And as I mentioned earlier, it's really our flagship platform for visual computing and AI in the data center. And what that translates into for enterprises who are looking for a data center class solution is a really powerful NVIDIA Blackwell accelerated platform for them to go and run multiple types of different workloads. So if you're doing things like generative AI, if you're building AI agents, this is a great platform. It delivers really fantastic performance for a wide range of different types of model modalities, from text to image to video. But it also delivers really compelling compute performance as well. So if you're doing engineering simulation work on single precision applications that span CAE or discrete element method or electromagnetics, right? This is a great platform for that as well. And then, of course, it's our flagship RTX capable GPU. So that means that it has the best in class visual computing capabilities that NVIDIA has to offer. So a combination of all those different things make it a really, really fantastic platform for enterprises to either get started with in the data center or really accelerate some of their workloads if they're on a previous generation GPU like the L40S or the A40.
We talked about the latest addition to the data center suite of products. We covered the RTX Pro 6000 Blackwell Server Edition, but can you tell us a little bit more about the RTX Pro Server?
Yeah, absolutely. So we introduced the RTX Pro Server at Computex this year. Jensen set the stage by talking about how our Blackwell architecture has really delivered transformational performance and efficiency for AI workloads. And we had introduced a wide range of platforms based upon Blackwell, particularly for AI natives and AI enterprises, right? This is our rack scale GB200, GB300 solutions, very, very large, high performance systems. They're really feats of engineering. We have our HGX class systems based on on Blackwell as well for enterprises who are looking at large scale LLM inference and training workloads. But with the introduction of RTX Pro Server, we've now made the revolutionary capabilities of the Blackwell architecture available to really any enterprise. So we're partnering with the world's largest system builders to bring optimized configurations to market that take advantage of the RTX Pro 6000 Blackwell Server Edition GPU. And there's a couple of things I talked about earlier in this podcast, right? The ability for a system that can run almost any enterprise workload, and certainly anything that NVIDIA has ever developed, whether that be AI, whether that be Omniverse, right? It's an x86 capable system. It's compatible with how enterprises are managing and deploying systems today. It can run containers, it can run Kubernetes, it can run VMs, it can run Windows, it can run Linux, right? It's a Blackwell system that is truly available to every enterprise. And again, because it's based on the RTX Pro 6000 Blackwell Server Edition GPU, it's a PCIe air-cooled system, right? So compatible for more data centers. It's lower power than some of our other systems on the market today. So really, truly a great entry point for every enterprise to have an opportunity to accelerate their applications and their workloads on Blackwell.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, of course, this is focused on the enterprise side of things when it comes to the data center. What type of markets would this mainly be used with?
Sure. So, I mean, the RTX Pro 6000, its appeal, again, multi-workload, right? So you have the ability to go out and, deploy this GPU to support workloads across multiple different types of industries. We work with PNY to put together platforms that include our RTX Pro server, which, we're not only talking about running workloads on a single GPU or putting a single GPU in a data center system, but NVIDIA, we have developed a reference design for the ultimate server configuration that allows enterprises to go and put up to 8 of these in a system and provide a really compelling platform level offering to enterprises based on this GPU. And I mentioned, not only, it's multi-workload capabilities, multi-industry appeal too. So again, for industries that are doing visual computing like M&E and entertainment, for creative applications, for product design and manufacturing, you have the ability to do that high-end visualization work, but also some of the engineering simulation that goes alongside of it. Even into the healthcare space, life sciences, medical sciences for applications like drug discovery and genomic sequencing. This platform really can, do it all. And as Jensen puts it, right, it's the first Blackwell platform that can truly accelerate any software that's ever been written, certainly everything that NVIDIA has written. So whether that's AI Enterprise or Omniverse suite for physical and industrial AI applications like robotics, is truly capable of really being a good fit for a lot of different types of organizations.
Yeah, it definitely seems like it's something for everyone with that. It
Yeah.
feels like it fits into every industry really well and really nicely, and it really does accelerate a lot of different workloads. But I really wanted to hone in on higher education, and specifically, you were mentioning before the advantages that you get from upgrading. So I wanted to ask you a little bit about the higher education market. What types of benefits and advantages do they see in comparison to using like the L40S, for example?
Yeah, yeah, so absolutely. So I mean, if in the higher education space, there are a wide range of different applications, whether it's being powering a compute lab, if you're working with engineering students, if you have students who are accessing, compute resources to power their design or visualization applications, to actually doing research and large scale computing problems, right? There's a lot of different workloads that we can go after in the higher ed space. But for customers today who are running on L40S, I think they'll see a tremendous, uplift in performance. For visual computing, we usually benchmark against a suite of applications in the rendering space. So if you're doing real-time rendering or batch or static rendering, you'll see, performance increases on this platform versus L40S in excess of, 2x, 2.5x what you're seeing on L40S today. So really, really fantastic for visual computing. That same thing can be said about the engineering space. So engineering and simulation workloads, again, single precision HPC packages can be for your CFD workflows, your CAE workflows. It can be molecular dynamics, even chemistry, right? up to 2x performance versus the previous generation. So a really, really big jump there too. And we haven't even really begun to talk about AI yet. So I think higher ed customers who are running on L40S today will be really happy with this platform.
Yeah. And I think it's important too to mention the AI of it all and how that kind of affects these different markets, especially higher education, what students and researchers are working on. But I wanted to ask you, because there are these awesome performance gains, everything you just went over in comparison to the L40S, but how would you explain the advantages of this upgrade to a non-technical stakeholder? Because as we're bringing these next gen hardware solutions in and the idea of AI and everything, there might be people who don't necessarily understand what these performance gains mean in these spaces. So how would you explain this advantage of this upgrade to them?
Sure, sure. So, I mean, I think the performance gains, it can be attributed to a few different things. We introduce new features on the architecture of the GPU itself. That's one area where we see a lot of performance gains. The second is, what about the power, memory, and I/O? So we've doubled the memory. We have doubled the memory bandwidth, right? So specification changes on the platform itself. And what this does is really allows you to do your work faster, more efficiently, support more users, and get time to value faster. So for AI use cases, one of the things we talk about is the jump in throughput, more tokens per second per GPU. What does that mean in practice? It means an enterprise can deploy an inferencing application to their end users and actually support more users on a system with this GPU in it versus a system with the same number of previous generation GPUs in it. That's how the performance advantage can really be translated into value for customers. So that's one way to really look at it. But again, it's about doing your work faster design iterations. You can fit larger models now. If you're doing a design and visualization work with a very, very large full fidelity model, you're doing complex rendering, you can fit that now within a single GPU up to 96 gigs. Or maybe you need to have more users actually interacting with your application, like a product design application or an engineering walkthrough for a large scale project like in AECO space, right? So being able to support more users has a big value prop as well.
Right. So when it comes to being able to support more users, I know in the past you've mentioned multi-instance GPU. How does that kind of come into play with the 6000 in this situation?
Sure. So multi-instance GPU, or we call it MIG for short, is a functionality that we brought to this GPU, for the first time. Really, when I say first time, it means this class of data center GPU with RTX capability. So we've had multi-instance GPU in the past on our A100 or H100 class platforms, but what this does is allows you to basically partition the RTX Pro 6000 GPU into as many as 4 fully isolated instances. So each of these instances can have access to their own compute cores, their own memory, or memory bandwidth, and run fully independently of each other. So organizations can take one of these GPUs and concurrently run AI workloads on one, visual computing workloads on the other. And it's a really fantastic value proposition that allows you to really increase the utilization rate of the GPU itself by segmenting out how you run the workloads across the platform.
Yeah, I think that multi-instance GPU is really powerful, and especially because of the fact that it can be used for the 6000 Pro Server Edition, I think that it has a lot of use cases. But what I wanted to ask is when it comes to some of these older GPUs, I wrote this question down specifically, how do other GPUs like the H100, H200 NVL, and L40S support new generative AI and large language model workloads in enterprise environments?
So yeah, you asked a great question. So we do have a number of data center GPUs that are, in fact, PCIe GPUs based on the Ada generation, like the L40S, multiple based on Hopper, the H100 NBL, the H200 NBL, and then we have the RTX Pro, right? So all of these GPUs could be used to run generative AI workloads. But one of the things that we say often here at NVIDIA is, your mileage may vary. Right. With every new generation, we introduce new capabilities. We introduce new, enhancements and techniques that are supported on the software layer to increase the value proposition of our platforms and improve the performance of these types of AI workloads. So going back to L40S, a fantastic universal GPU platform. But there are some new features we introduced with Blackwell that aren't available or are supported on the L40S that can improve the performance of generative AI workloads. Same goes with Hopper. One of the new innovations that we introduced is the ability to support the FP4 precision format. We introduced the support for FP8 with Hopper and Ada, but this allows us to increase the performance and efficiency of workloads like inference and training by reducing the amount of data that's required without sacrificing accuracy of the model. So that's one way that these workloads benefit from running on Blackwell powered systems. Additionally, when you look at the L40S versus say the H100 or the H200 NVL versus the RTX Pro, there's a suite of features that are supported on those 100 class accelerators that set it apart for compute workloads specifically. For instance, the ability to support double precision at HPC, dedicated hardware on the board designed to run FP64 HPC applications is unique to our 100 class platforms. It's not something that we position our RTX enabled cards like the L40S and the RTX Pro 6000 Blackwell Server Edition for. They also support NVLink capabilities, so being able to actually connect these GPUs, the H100 and H200 NVL, together using an NVLink bridge that provides a high bandwidth interconnect between the platforms, as well as particularly beneficial for AI training workloads. Now, that's not to say that there aren't benefits to running on the RTX 6000 Pro, because there certainly are. We offer that higher level of inference performance thanks to the new features that we introduced with Blackwell. But again, it's going to be more of an exercise on the customer side to determine which of our platforms, which of our capability sets best meet the needs of their workload. If they are able to run AI workloads on an RTX Pro 6000, the value there in terms of performance per dollar is tremendous when you compare it against our Hopper class systems. And that's because, frankly, it's available at a lower price point. We've introduced new features, new enhancements that make it very compelling to go and run these AI workloads on the RTX Pro. But there are things that, generally will be outperformed on the Hopper class systems. And again, I would just encourage everyone to really understand the feature set, understand the capabilities of each of our different platforms for the data center to determine which one makes the most sense for them.
So it seems like, PNY and NVIDIA were offering a really comprehensive suite of products for the data center, but I want to move away from the hardware side of things and ask you a little bit about software, specifically NVIDIA AI Enterprise, and just get your thoughts on how it can complement the hardware and give you a full solution.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a fantastic question. I think one of the most important things is that building and deploying AI applications is really a full stack effort, right? So NVIDIA AI Enterprises, for those who don't know, our portfolio of software designed to deliver everything an organization needs to build and deploy AI applications. As a part of that, there are a number of components that really enable NVIDIA to be positioned as the provider of all of the building blocks for agentic AI. One of the first things that comes to mind is around this concept of NVIDIA blueprints. So we put together within the NVIDIA AI Enterprise software portfolio reference examples of applications that can help developers, NVIDIA partners, customers quickly get started with building AI applications. And these blueprints are used to create things like AI agents for use cases like deep research or customer service or security, video analytics, you name it, right? And all of these blueprints are built, again, on components that NVIDIA has optimized to be accelerated for our computing platforms, like the RTX Pro 6000 Blackwell Server Edition GPU. We have suites of performance-optimized AI models. We call those NVIDIA NIM microservices that provide high-performance inference on our GPU platforms, like the RTX Pro 6000. We also include microservices for use cases around retrieval augmented generation called NEMO for customization, refining models for particular use cases and domains, and putting guardrails in place for model security, right? So NVIDIA is doing a full stack effort to go and put together a complete platform for enterprises to run generative AI applications and agentic AI applications. And we haven't even touched on to everything we're doing on the physical AI side as well. So NVIDIA's Omniverse platform really helps to put together the tools and frameworks in place for customers to take that next step in their AI journey, which is bringing it to the physical world. So we have a complete suite of software focused on helping organizations do things like build large scale, full fidelity visual twins for providing an environment for training of autonomous systems and robotics systems as well. So helping them understand and perceive and operate in the real world, right? Generating synthetic data for perception and understanding for robots as well. So a whole suite of applications, a comprehensive software portfolio designed to really accelerate this next era of AI. And it's all built to run on NVIDIA's accelerated computing platforms. So really fantastic use cases.
Right. Yeah, you basically covered every single aspect of the use cases and the real life world scenarios that you can use these GPUs for. So I guess my last question would be, where do you specifically see AI going in the future? And what does that look like?
Yeah, I think it's more disruption in a good way, right? Everyone will become more productive, more capable. AI is enhancing the work we do, and it's a tremendous opportunity to really transform industries, enable enterprises to achieve a competitive advantage, differentiate themselves, right? So we're in a position where we're trying to help organizations capture a lot of the value proposition that AI can really offer them. And it's done with a full stack approach to computing, from the hardware to the software, right? And ecosystem driven innovation as well. We work with a large partner ecosystem to build use cases, integrate with their existing platforms, help their customers take advantage of NVIDIA accelerated computing with their offerings, right? So there's this huge opportunity in the marketplace for AI-driven transformation. We've seen fantastic progress on that to date, and I think I'm really excited to see where that trend continues over the next couple of months, couple of years, as as AI becomes more important in the global ecosystem and our daily lives. And really excited to kind of witness this play out in the long term, because it's really exciting and we're still in the early days.
Yeah, that's a great response. Well, Anthony, thank you so much for your time today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Always appreciate the opportunity to meet with PNY, and look forward to doing this again with you all soon.
Sounds great. And for everyone else out there, make sure you follow us on social at PNY Pro and look for us on your favorite podcast platform at the PNY PRO Podcast. That's it for this episode, and we'll see you in the next one.